Well, thanks for joining me. I'd like to share with you 6 things that I've learned after working with churches for 30 years, and in particular, churches that are going to be expanding their facilities and building buildings to enhance their ministry. First of all, localize the why. We all understand the Great Commission, and we are to go and make disciples, but there's always a local expression of that. And one of the best ways I've found to determine that is ask 2 questions and subsequently answer them. One is, who are you? What is your DNA? How has God uniquely blessed you and gifted you to do the work that He's called you to do? And then secondly, where are you? What is your local context, or what is your local mission field? Who are the people that God is calling you in particular to reach through this next phase of ministry expansion? And then secondly, to connect the congregation. And it's important to keep the congregation at least informed, if not involved. And one of the best ways in the beginning is through a survey. There are a lot of church health surveys, the Transforming Church Index and the Healthy Church Index. And you can add custom questions to those that relate specifically for this next project that you're planning. And then throughout the process, you can keep them informed. We've found that one of the best ways is to provide open houses where you just invite people to come in on a certain day at a certain time and have direct access to the planning team members. They can ask questions. They can hear what's being planned. And it's a great way to keep them informed through the process. And then as you do disseminate information to the congregation, we suggest that you keep the ratio of the why to the what about 2 to 1. In other words, really focus on why you're doing what you're doing and the vision, and then go on to the what of the design and all the particular details that are part of that. But really make sure that you continue to cast the vision for life transformation throughout the process. And then make sure you get the right people on the planning team. In particular, we suggest that the ideal number of people be 3 to 5 on the ongoing planning team. Suggest that they be people who not only know the mission but understand the mission, fully support the mission. That's way more important than even people with technical knowledge. Make sure that they are spiritually mature. You're going to have a lot of meetings. You're going to have a lot of discussions. You're going to have a lot of disagreements. And so you want to make sure that the people are able to do that in a way that they don't take it beyond the team meetings. And then making sure that they're available in the very beginning. You no doubt have a lot of people that would be qualified to be part of the planning team, but that's only part of the equation. They also need to be available to meet during the times that you have scheduled to meet. And then make sure that they represent the ministry focus of the building, and even include non-believers or people that don't go to your church right now. Now, we wouldn't suggest that they be part of the ongoing planning team, but certainly at different points, bring them in to give you feedback on what you're thinking about and what you're planning. And then make sure you understand the process. It's very important for a couple of reasons. One is that you'll be doing some recruiting, and the first couple of questions people are going to ask when they're asked to be part of a planning team is what is the overall time commitment and how frequent are we going to meet? And so you need to make sure you understand that ahead of time, so you'll be able to answer those questions as you ask people to be a part of it. And then secondly, for scheduling, there are some key things that are part of any building expansion program. One is the capital campaign. And there are different milestones that are associated with that, like when drawings need to be available and videos and other things like that. So you want to understand that. The church may also have some key dates that you want to coordinate with. You might have a church anniversary coming up that you'll want to coordinate, maybe a groundbreaking or even a dedication. That works very well. If there's any maintenance you're thinking about doing to existing buildings, you might think about deferring that if you understand the process and about when you'd begin construction on the next phase of building. You can do that in conjunction with construction and save some money there because you've got subcontractors on the site already. And then the financing prep. If there's one thing that's normally a go, no-go issue in church building programs, it is the funding of the project. So it's important to get those folks involved early on and understand what their milestones are and when they need particular information, and you can prep for that and keep them part of the process. And then remember to blue sky it, but then green back it. And what I mean by that is in the very beginning, feel free to really think openly about how you can design environments that will help you fulfill the mission God's calling you to do. But understand there is a delicate balance between faith and presumption throughout the process, and eventually that blue sky thinking needs to be tempered with the financial realities of the project. So make sure you don't detach the design from the finances. I've seen some churches where they have a design team or a planning team, and then they have a separate finance team, which is fine, but they need to communicate throughout the process, because you don't want to get 6 months, 12 months, or even 18 months down the road and find out that what you're designing is totally out of the ballpark financially. So make sure that they're communicating throughout. And then don't be afraid to use constraints to catalyze your creative thinking. There are lots of ways to add ministry space, and we suggest that you really think in terms of ministry space as opposed to physical space, because you can obviously make use of the internet. You can add services. You can maybe add a video venue, either on-site or off-site, or look for churches that may be ready to close, or other rental properties. So there are other ways to add ministry space beyond just building a physical building. And then finally, probably goes without saying, but needs to be said, and that is to pray. 1 Samuel says God was moved by the prayers of his people, and we've seen that many times when there seem to be insurmountable issues that we've come up against, and really prayed specifically that God would move through that, and he has. And then certainly throughout the project, if you have a team that's dedicated to praying for the project, some of the suggestions here would be, first of all, for vision clarity, going back up to the localizing the why point, where it's very important to understand what God is calling you to do in this next chapter of ministry. And then design clarity, making sure that once you get crystal clear on the vision, then how that translates into environments and design to make sure it enhances your ministry. And then the funding clarity, and there again, making sure that you have the right partners on board, and that you prepare prudently from a financial standpoint, and make sure that all comes together.